This is the Daily Brief for Wednesday, 5 August. 12 stories in 8 minutes: money, politics, jobs, and the machines. Let's go. BP smashes profit records as Middle East war sends oil prices soaring through the roof. The energy giant banked $5.7 billion between April and June. That's more than double what it made a year earlier and the best quarterly result since the Russia-Ukraine war erupted. War in the Middle East disrupted global oil supplies through the Strait of Hormuz. Brent crude jumped to nearly $104 a barrel. Environmental groups immediately accused BP of profiteering off the chaos. Shell also doubled profits last week as all energy firms cash in. But BP boss Meg O'Neill said the company isn't hitting its potential yet. She's dumping the clean energy business and selling off the North Sea operation after 6 decades. Trump waded in Monday, telling oil giants they're making too much money and need to cut retail prices for consumers.
Gaming giant EA goes private in the largest leveraged buyout ever, saddled with $20 billion in fresh debt. Electronic Arts is now owned by Saudi Arabia's public investment fund, Jared Kushner's affinity partners, and other investors. The $55 billion deal is done. EA makes The Sims, EA FC, and Mass Effect. It's coming off the stock exchange entirely. That $20 billion in borrowed money lands on the company's books. Analysts warn of mass layoffs and aggressive cost-cutting ahead. Private equity firms manage companies with an iron fist. LGBTQ groups are protesting hard. Saudi Arabia punishes consensual same-sex conduct by death or flogging under some interpretations of law. The Players Alliance is asking gamers to petition politicians, worried that creative freedom and representation in games could get censored.
Job opportunities in the UK are drying up fast. A new study has found that job postings across the UK have fallen by 11% since the beginning of this year. The decline suggests the job market may be cooling as employers appear to be hiring more cautiously. This follows a period of stronger recruitment activity in previous years. The figures come at a time when many businesses are reassessing their staffing needs and budgets. Jobs remain available, but the slowdown could affect people searching for new positions. Economists are watching the trend closely as it may signal broader changes in the employment landscape.
A stair lift salesman sold animal Dewormer and scabies drug to a dying man, claiming they'd shrink his tumours. Fenbendazole and ivermectin are being hawked as unproven cancer treatments across the internet and in person. One salesman in South Wales made the pitch to a brain tumour patient. The BBC undercover reporter bought the drugs from the stair lift salesman for £100. He claimed it was 2 to 3 months' supply for lung cancer. Ivermectin treats scabies. Fenbendazole is used on animals. Neither has clinical evidence they fight cancer, says Macmillan Cancer Support. Videos with millions of views promote the drugs. Actor Mel Gibson claimed on a US podcast they cured 3 of his friends. Amazon removed the products after the BBC got in touch. Senior doctors warn vulnerable patients could skip real treatment and suffer serious harm.
More than 60,000 people scrambled to escape 3 massive fires that have torched 10,000 acres near Spokane. No deaths reported yet, but hundreds of buildings have been destroyed. The fires erupted over the weekend and were still burning Tuesday afternoon. Residents had seconds to decide. Amy Mulligan smelled smoke while preparing a birthday party. Minutes later, neighbors were fleeing in panic. Her 9-year-old daughter hyperventilated in the car, screaming the fire was right there. She's safe, but the family lost their home to the Old Trails fire. James Maine said there was 0 warning, no phone alert. He had 30 minutes to escape before realizing this was not going good at all. The suspect was arrested on suspicion of arson over the Old Trails fire, the largest blaze forcing evacuation.
The PM has yanked rapists and serious sex offenders out of the early release plan after the widow of a murdered police officer called it deplorable. Prime Minister Andy Burnham is excluding rapists, serious sexual offenders against children, and those in grooming gangs from a scheme that was set to free 6,000 inmates in September. The widow of PC Andrew Harper said it was deplorable that 2 of his 3 killers could get out earlier than expected. The Sentencing Act was supposed to ease jail overcrowding by releasing offenders after they'd served just 1/3 of their sentence instead of half. Police were nearly unable to lock up suspects last year when prisons ran out of cells. Courts would have stopped. Judges couldn't sentence criminals. Burnham wants a presumption that all released offenders get tagged. The new plan should be operational by October, but prison governors must now rethink who gets out and when.
Quick break, your best videos are sitting there, an hour long, unwatched. Orion Digital cuts them into short clips people actually finish. Podcasts, talks, and interviews clipped and delivered ready to post. Find us at oriondigital.uk.
A powerful Chinese open-weight AI is catching up to the world's leading models, but with virtually no safety protections. ELM-5.2 from China's Z.I is only months behind OpenAI's GPT 5.5 on dangerous cyber and biology capabilities, says the Safer AI safety nonprofit. But here's the problem. GLM 5.2 refused 0 of the offensive cyber and biology tasks it was tested on. OpenAI's Claude refused so consistently, the test couldn't even complete. Open-weight models put powerful AI in the hands of potential attackers, with no way to police how they use it once downloaded. Safeguards become unenforceable on personal hardware. Frontier developers rely on classifiers, refusal training, and API controls to limit danger. Those don't survive once someone modifies the code. Safer AI's director warns the frontier of capability is not the frontier of risk. Society must manage both.
A week-old industry alliance already has security proposals on the table as over 120 companies join the charge. The Open Secure AI Alliance just formed, but Nvidia and its 120-plus member companies already have working groups drafting rules. The Shared AI Findings Exchange will publish guidelines on reporting AI cybersecurity incidents confidentially, alerting victims and conducting blame-free analysis. Members are pooling open-source security tools. Nvidia offers Garak, a vulnerability scanner. Red Hat is building governance tech. Amazon contributed agent-building tools. The group includes Adobe, BlackRock, Cisco, Intel, Microsoft, and Visa, but notably excludes Anthropic and Google despite both signing the original letter that sparked this effort. OpenAI and Google have released open-weight models of their own, yet haven't joined the alliance. The group is operating at AI speeds on these proposals.
Authorities caught a man carrying a pistol with armor-piercing ammunition, prowling Trump's California golf course before the president arrived. 29 John Tail, 38, was spotted walking the Trump National Golf Course grounds in Rancho Palos Verdes, taking photographs and monitoring security planning. He had a loaded pistol and a 16-round magazine with hollow point bullets hidden in his vehicle. California bans magazines over 10 rounds. Plainclothes federal agents reported him Sunday afternoon, just hours before Trump was due to arrive for a fundraising dinner Tuesday. Tail is also wanted in connection with a robbery in El Segundo, 15 miles north. FBI and sheriff's agents raided his home Monday. They found an illegally modified AR rifle, another pistol, body armor, high-capacity magazines, and notebooks with concerning statements. More charges may come.
The PM is exploring a public inquiry into Jeffrey Epstein's UK activities and the alleged conduct of Mohammed Al-Fayed. Victims Minister Alex Davies-Jones told the BBC the Prime Minister is looking at what's possible. Burnham has agreed to meet with Epstein's survivors. The government is also reviewing whether alleged actions of the late Harrods owner Mohammed Al-Fayed could be included in an inquiry. Davies-Jones resigned from Keir Starmer's government in May, accusing them of failing to listen to survivors. Burnham reappointed her when he took office. She discussed an inquiry during her reappointment meeting with the PM and Cabinet Secretary. Burnham has assured her he will meet victims and work towards systemic change. Campaigners sent Burnham a document suggesting an inquiry into Epstein, Al-Fayed, and allegations against West Ham co-owner David Sullivan. Sullivan denies the claims.
Oil prices tumble as Trump warns Iran it'll be hit very hard if it doesn't open the Strait of Hormuz very soon. Brent crude dropped nearly 5% to under $80 a barrel Tuesday after U.S. officials signaled progress in talks with Iran and Oman. Secretary of State Marco Rubio and Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent said discussions were advancing toward potentially reopening the vital shipping route. Trump told Fox News Iran will be hit very hard if the strait doesn't open very soon. He insisted Iran was keen to cut a deal. Bessent predicted an agreement could happen as soon as Tuesday or Wednesday. Iran says it's not negotiating with the U.S., but talking to Oman instead. Months of conflict over the strait have sent oil markets into freefall. Motorists have paid the price in fuel costs worldwide.
Nigel Farage, Reform UK, says it'll use the Navy to intercept migrant boats and force them back to France even if Paris objects. Reform said under its plan military personnel in inflatable boats from 10 Navy patrol vessels would intercept crossings and return migrants to France or Belgium by force. A Bay-class landing ship would hold up to 700 people for detention at sea. The party says it would target French ports if the French government refuses. Farage claimed attitudes in France are softening, but Paris hit back immediately, saying the plan violates French sovereignty and international maritime law. A Labour minister said the scheme would waste time arguing with France instead of actually tackling the problem. Opposition parties branded it unworkable. Reform's Home Affairs spokesman said, if the Élysée Palace refuses His Majesty's Royal Marines will disembark migrants on the shore they left that morning.
That's your brief. Every story here comes from a published report, and every source is listed below. Subscribe, and we'll do it all again tomorrow.